wonderful guest for you. Grab paper and pen. You're going to need it. This guy's a wealth of information. He's a teacher, man. He's a teacher. He says he's just some guy. That's his intro. So I went digging for information on the internet about our guest. And I found out so many wonderful things that he's accomplished. And, like he just wanted the intro to be he's some guy. So we're going to have him say the things he's accomplished. We're going to make him brag. That's right. We're going to make him remember. Let's do this. Let's bring him on right now, right here on Comic Spot. The one and only, the comedy coach, Neil Leiberman. Hi, Neil.
Oh, stop it already with the applause. Had enough with that.
I went to a show last
You look
night and they
fantastic,
said,
by the way.
I look fantastic?
Yes, you do.
Oh my gosh, I wonder why
I
you're
don't.
saying that.
You look great, but me, I don't know. My neck looks like a vagina. I'm not sure what's going on. All right. Sorry about that.
You're giving me all kinds of free lines to say. I'm kidding. That's a great
Anything I say,
joke.
you can steal.
What?
Anything I say, you can steal.
Really?
Of course.
Oh wow, I love this. You heard
All
that,
about
folks.
giving. We're just giving is what we're doing. Why hold on to the funny? There's no reason.
What's the deal about jokes?
What's the deal exactly?
I want to hear your whole life before
Wow.
before the Holy City, whatever that was, that fleeting thing that happened.
Don't remember. Okay, so you want to hear from the beginning, like when I was born?
Yeah. What do you remember about your birth?
All right. Well, the person who's watching this and listening to this has already left. So I might as well say anything I want. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. That's where I'm from. And loved theater, loved my dad would, bring me in front of the TV to watch comedians on the Ed Sullivan Show. So I had a really good education. We'd go to the Catskills and we'd see the comedians, the great, Alan King and everybody else. And so I was getting this education and I didn't know why I was getting it, but it seemed to help me later on. And so I lived in Cleveland until I was 15. This is really interesting. And then we moved to Encino in the San Fernando Valley, culture shock. And, not crazy about California too much. Certainly not LA. Lived in San Francisco for a long time. I was in California for almost 50 years and just recently moved.
Back to Ohio?
No, I'm not giving you my new address, am I? Because I don't want to be bombarded for podcast appearances.
Thank you for coming on to mine.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Well, when I met you in Las Vegas, it was love at first sight. So, there was no way I was going to say no after that.
Me too.
Oh, really? Okay, wow.
You don't have a wife I have to kill, do you?
I do. I do.
I
She's
hate
lovely,
this.
lovely, and she would understand though.
We just call it a work wife.
Yeah, she's very understanding.
Is that her picture on the wall back there?
Well, no, that's Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin. Laugh.com, another Jerry Lewis thing. And there's lots of Jerry. It's all Jerry Lewis is what it is.
I love Jerry Lewis.
Oh, my favorite.
Yeah.
Got to meet him a couple times. Very sweet to me. I've heard stories, and I believe them, but he was very nice to me.
I hear that a lot. Well, he's nice to me.
Yeah, I know.
And he helped muscular dystrophy, right?
Raised millions of dollars. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, even Hitler had good things he accomplished.
And now we're comparing Jerry to Hitler. Okay. Well, he did make that movie that never came out. You know about that, right? Do you know the Day the Clown Cried?
No.
Yeah, that's a Jerry Lewis movie that was made and never released. And it was about a clown who would lure children into the gas chambers. So uh, obviously not a comedy, and for many reasons was never released. Yeah,
Uh,
you can get
my
the script.
parents survived the Holocaust. My
Oh,
dad was in 7 camps.
right. Well, I figured Marcus, and then I didn't get the Smith. I don't understand it.
Nobody, I don't
What
even
happened?
get the Smith.
Oh, all right. Are you trying to hide the
I had to
Jewishness?
marry a goyim.
Oh, you had to. Yeah, I did too.
Nice. How's that working for you?
Fantastic.
Oh, that's
Oh, it's
great.
like
How do you
27.
make how do you make a Jewish person and a non-Jewish person last so long? How long have you been married?
27 years.
That's lasting, yeah.
Yeah,
How do you do that?
I have no idea. You're asking the wrong person. I do what I'm
Don't
told.
analyze it.
I'm not an idiot. I do what I'm told to do. I'm very happy.
That's so great. How'd you meet your wife?
It was a conference. Okay, I'll tell you what it was. Since who's going to watch this? Who? I want names right now. Tell me who's watching it.
Do you know how many views I get a year?
Six? I don't know.
Last month, in the last 28 days, I had 1,200 views.
Wow, that one person is busy clicking that thing.
Some of them watch for hours and some of them stay for seconds. Some are gone already.
All right, I'd like to leave. No. So we met at a 12-step conference.
Is that dancing?
There was some dancing, but that wasn't the main thing. So that's how we met. And
Nice. 12
that's the
step.
story.
Do you remember all the 12 steps?
Yes, of course.
It's a lot to remember.
You want me to get up and
You show me your coins.
I can show you the samba? Oh,
I don't even remember the 10 commandments. Why do they give us so much to remember?
that's too much. 4 commandments would have been fine.
Quit telling me to remember. The older you get, the more things people tell you not to forget. Have you noticed?
I didn't write. I have no idea what you just said. Completely confused by the whole premise. So let's talk about you and your comedy. What's going on with your comedy?
So, I am in my own lane. Nobody wants to compete with me. So I always manage to have a niche that nobody else wants. Um, it comes from being a bedwetter. Sorry, I'm laughing at my own joke. I never said this before. What?
Oh, I was a bedwetter and a thumb sucker.
I love that. I
Yeah,
would do that right now if I could talk and do it, but
I'm not ashamed.
so what I like to do, like I was really great at telemarketing. I was a fabulous teller in a bank. I hold the record with the FBI for giving the best description of a bank robber. I do these things to excess and excel at them, and nobody else wants to. So I do comedy for the military because, most people want to do that about as much as they want to die because you have to be clean and you have to be non-political, and so that weeds out a lot of the riffraff for me.
Right, right. If they don't like you, they have guns. Not good.
I almost got shot when I was in the military and I wasn't even in battle.
Wow, what happened? Tell me about it.
My lieutenant was cleaning his weapon, his 45, next to me, and he didn't know he had a round in the chamber. So it went off towards my left leg, and now I have tinnitus in my right ear.
Oh my God.
They approved me for tinnitus because they should have thought, how can she have tinnitus in that ear when the gun went off? Well, but they didn't think. So I
Yeah,
don't
well,
even
it
know if I
flew
have
right through.
tinnitus.
It went all the way through, is what happened. Yeah, that makes sense.
You don't even want to hear my war stories. They're fakakta.
I don't like war. I've never even held a gun.
Really?
ever, never.
I'm a sharpshooter with a 45.
I'll be nicer to you.
It's only because of the guy I let go to second base on the rifle range.
What was his name?
I don't remember.
You don't
Names,
remember?
names.
I bet he remembers. Yeah,
Let's get on to your life now that you've opened up my Pandora. I would say box, but that's a whole nother that goes
that's all.
down. I'll leave that word out. So
So what
tell
can
me
I tell
about
you?
your life
Well, that's kind of a broad question
from abroad.
from a three-name person. What do you want me to tell you? I really hate talking about myself, which is that makes a great guest for a podcast.
No, I like that you don't
Okay,
like.
here, real quick, here it is. So, in one breath, I was a comedian and I was performing at the Comedy Store in LA. It was the Comedy Store West, which was in Westwood. And for some reason, and I was open micing it, with everybody else and marginally funny. But the other comedians kept coming up to me and saying, what do you think of this joke? Or should I do this? Or why isn't this working? And I had no idea why they were asking me, but the advice seemed to be working. So they sort of ganged up on me and beat me up behind the Comedy Store and said, you should be doing this for a living. And nobody had ever done it. There was no such thing as a comedy coach, didn't exist. There were people teaching classes and stuff, but no full-time one-on-one comedy coach, which is what I specialize in. And so I figured, well, I have this built-in clientele. I don't have to travel the country on the road breathing cigarette smoke in clubs back in the day, you know. And so I just sort of fell into the coaching and it just snowballed. And this has been over 40 years now.
You have such a great list of people you've made famous.
I don't provide a list and I never say who I work with. So I don't know how you know that.
Okay, I won't say the list.
You can't have a list because I've never made a list. I don't know
I
where you're getting your information from.
Yeah, I went and Googled and saw a long list.
No. If you did, it was not for me. It was not my people. I'm serious. I
That's
never say who I work with.
wow. Okay. I'll scratch it. I won't
Okay.
say it. I'm glad I didn't say it.
Well, you could say it because it's probably wrong.
Okay, I'll say it. I'll be daring enough to be
Okay, and
wrong.
I'm not going to show any emotion on my face. Okay.
Okay. Jeff, no, Bob Saget. Joby Maxwell. Jeff Applebaum. I like apples and bombs. Bomb means tree. Okay, no? Okay, well, let's leave the list. Okay.
That's was that the entire list.
No, there's like Dan Lewis, Larry Wild, Sonia Berg, Brian Scott. Hmm. I bet you've got a lot more famous people than Bob Saget. I
That's true.
love this. This interview is really taking off. I can
I know,
see
isn't it?
that.
I
This
have
is
quite a
almost like
secret.
when I upset Brad Upton. It's right up there.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm not upset.
No. Well, let's talk about, you mentioned in an interview I caught, it was a podcast, not a live audio video like mine. It was just a podcast. And you said that the Holy City Zoo and some cafe that you did, and you mentioned the difference between the two. That Holy City Zoo was like where people came and they might have taken their craft seriously, but they didn't stay clean. And at this cafe, there was a real audience, and the people stayed clean with their comedy a little bit. So I'd
A
like,
little bit, a little bit. Well, in general, I'm all about clean. Not in my private life, not talking to you, but as far as the people I work with, I require that they're clean, and clean means different things to different people. Uh, my definition is network TV clean.
Okay,
Not
perfect.
cable, not streaming, network, ABC, NBC. If they allow it on the air, then you can do that in a club.
Perfect.
All I can do is give that advice. Not everyone takes that advice. Um, I work with a lot of people who are extremely clean. And then, several years later, when they move on and I'm not working with them anymore, they become dirty.
Wow.
Yeah. So the point is that you don't want to be labeled a dirty comic. That's all. And if you do one or two dirty jokes in a 5-minute set, that you're considered a dirty comic. So why would you want that label? I want to be able to work anywhere I can and adjust my set accordingly. Although I don't really adjust very much. I have a set and that's what I do.
So in the set that you do, I went looking to try to watch you on stage. And I didn't find any. You're so
I can find
secretive.
anything.
I would love. When will you be performing somewhere in the United States so I can fly there just to hear you?
You're not going to leave the country for me?
I got
No?
I got scruples.
Oh, all right. No, I'm not really doing stand up very much anymore. It's unless it's a corporate thing, which is fine. I mean, I'll do that because the money's so great.
Let's talk about your corporate. I found your corporate focus really interesting. Kind of like you have three main things that you do for a corporation. I found that so refreshing.
Right. What were they? Oh, I think one is to just like, perform it, do a 20-minute thing, for everyone at dinner, another one is to work with people in the corporation and for a day and turn them into comedians. And then they perform that night at the dinner. And these are people everyone know in the corporation, So that's another one. And the third one is just working one-on-one with the CEO who maybe has to speak and wants to be funnier. So
Yes.
yeah, those are the three usually that.
I
Yeah.
I
I,
love I noticed that you said something about how they can use humor to diffuse situations like anger management or getting along with coworkers, but do it with humor.
yeah, it sounds great, doesn't it? Does it actually work? Can you reach into that humor bag when you're pissed off? It's very difficult. It's very difficult. I would take that on a case by case basis. How do I deal with this person? But that's a tremendous generalization that I cannot live up to.
Yeah. I love it. I was in a corporate environment. I was a banker for 24 years and I moved up the ladder to in working in the corporate office doing training. And one time we had a motivational funny guy come in, Bob Moad. There's motivational, but he's passed away. He got $50,000 for one seminar. There's money in it.
Oh yeah, there's money. Yeah.
You got
I
to be
mean,
clean.
I don't leave the house for less than 20 grand. So
Really?
yeah, it's not
Wow.
happening. I don't
I
want to
would,
go anywhere. I'm old. I'm old. I don't want to go. I've been everywhere. Why do I want to go out? I'm happy here. There's food in the fridge. Lovely wife is here. In that order.
what are some of the things with your corporate comedy and your stand up? What are some of the best scenarios that you've been in? We forget about Judy Carter and Weird, Hard, Stupid, and Scary. Neil Lieberman, tell me what's the best thing
Wow. I guess
that
she's not coming on, is she? What's the problem? I'm sure she's fine. I don't
I'm
know her personally. I talked to her once on the phone and she was very nice.
she can be very nice and
Well, I had to
direct.
protect my comedy coach trademark.
What's that?
I had to protect my comedy coach trademark.
No
So I
kidding.
so I called everyone who was teaching at that time or calling themselves a comedy coach and just saying, chill out. I own the trademark, don't use it.
Wow.
And just about everyone was very agreeable.
Wow.
They just stopped using it. So
I'm glad you got it trademarked.
yeah, it was a million years ago.
Can I trademark every joke?
Cannot trademark a joke, unfortunately.
Nobody would want to trademark my jokes. Don't
I
even
don't
worry.
believe that. I just, there's just no way to protect a joke.
Yeah. Why is that?
Well,
Now you're my rabbi.
I know, Rabbi Lieberman. I don't know why it is. I think it's correct. I think if you write it, it should be out there. Anyone can take it, use it. You're not going to do it as well as I am anyway, or whoever you are.
I make my
Um,
jokes so uniquely me, like, like they're part of my DNA and only I
so,
know the code to say it.
right. So not funny is what you're going for. Because I
At
think you,
some point, that's more important.
I think you've cornered the market. I really do. I'm teasing
What makes you so funny? What makes you so wonderfully open to me? Like when you met me, you didn't know me from Adam. I'm
you. Right.
slumming around the comedy world, you know, and I'm not famous. And you treated me like, so you must have been raised to be kind and nice to people, and you have room in your life to accept new people into your life. Why would you care about me? You must have been raised in a certain way, certain time, certain values. You're delightful. What makes you who you are today, Neil? What
It's
in your life
acting. It's
happened?
acting. Acting is the I don't like people. Again, I don't want to be outside. I don't want to stay in the house. No, I love comedy people. Comedy people, especially. Everyone else is kind of gets on my nerves, but they're just dry, and it's just not. They might say something like, "Oh, that's funny," but they won't laugh. And it's like you're a good laugher. You're friendly. You have a friendly face. You're funny. It's easy to be nice to you.
Oh, thank you. Man, that's nice to hear. Thank you. So, talk about how you grew up and grew into comedy. Like you were marching around in your diapers, then you went to school, and then
The
you
later
did.
Hosen, I was marching around with the Hitler Youth, and what happened? I
Tell
don't
me
know.
about.
I was in high school and I had a great drama teacher, and they were doing a play, The Rainmaker, and the teacher said, "Why don't you be the assistant director?" Again, why me? Why these things happening? I have no idea. And so I did that, and I found that I really like to coach, direct actors in this play. And so it was just sort of, again, just sort of snowballed from there. I grew up thinking I was going to be a writer because my dad was a freelance writer for over 40 years, very successful. Um, so I do write a lot of comedy material, obviously, and I write for a lot of comedians, since I'm not doing it myself very much. And I really love doing that because I love tailoring material to your voice specifically, which is really what the coaching is about anyway. It's like, how can we find out what's truly funny about you and get some workable material for that. Um, so that was sort of the beginning of learning how to. I don't know why she chose me to do that, and I'm very grateful for everything that's happened to me. I think I've been very lucky, and I don't know. I'm just floating along, and things are happening to me. I don't
Yes,
know.
it must be so rewarding to. I mean, when I first contacted you long before Aaron O'Connor introduced us at the Laugh Factory, I reached out to you with your comedy coach information I saw and talked to you about your coaching specifically. And you said that you can help people some of your people have won festivals and contests. And you had made no bones about the fact that your coaching could help people get to that.
Gosh, I'm gonna ask.
It was really intriguing, you know? It's
I
so
think I can. I think I can. I don't know if I can. I think I can help people win. They seem to be winning the competitions. So, we've kind of figured out that competition world. And it's evil, and a lot of times it's preordained who is going to be the winner before it ever starts, before any round ever starts. I mean, that my story about the San Francisco comedy competition, which is, I walked up to the guy who ran the competition the first day of tryouts, and I said, "Who's going to win this year?" And he told me. So, you know, it doesn't even matter. I could be coaching you and you could be fantastic, but the winner's already been chosen. They're usually, I mean, the San Francisco one is, very, very good. There's a lot of just rinky dink competitions, and it's all about getting your $50 to be part of it.
yes. I know somebody, Nancy Levine in New York, she's doing Ladies Room Comedy Festival, and somebody got on her post and said, $40 in New York City? You gotta be crazy. That's highway robbery. Get a
Really?
grip.
Really? I thought it would be more expensive in New York.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
What's your favorite thing that you've accomplished off at stage at home in your life? Don't give me no pat answers like being married or some silly, silly, stupid thing like that. I mean, give me something with real content. 27 years and stuff. Ah, please.
so accomplishments at home and professionally, is that what you're looking for? So you want
Yeah.
me to brag about me.
Yeah, like
So
do you take the trash out on time or
yes,
let it sit up?
no, I take the trash out. I do. I'm telling you, I'm a yes man around the house. There's no arguing. I'm wrong.
Where do I find? Do you have a brother that's single?
No, I used to have a brother. He was,
Oh,
yes, you would have loved him.
sorry.
Yeah. So no, if you want to know, no, I'm not going to do that. So go to comedycoach.com. And if you want to look at the bragging and the ridiculous things that I say I've done, go and look at that bullshit.
Okay.
I
All
feel,
right.
I just feel silly.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about other stuff then, since you don't really like delving into you. Tell me about some of the memorabilia you've collected from being around these people you won't tell me who they are.
What if
Yeah.
let me tell you
Like,
about how about some of the people I've met, not worked with, but people in the industry that I've met that I'm really excited about. Well, we talked about Jerry Lewis, right? Um, I spent a good almost a month or so with Milton Berle the last year of his life at the Friars Club because I was hanging out at the Friars Club at that time in LA, the LA Friars Club, not the New York. And he was amazing. I mean, he's an encyclopedia. He was still very, very sharp. Um, and he's eating, we're having lunch and he's eating a tongue sandwich. Okay, so I just turned to look over here and I turned back and he's got the tongue is just hanging out of his mouth. And it's like he's doing a gag for me. Nobody else is around. It's just the two of us. But it's like how hungry was he to get a laugh all the time, you know?
oh,
And I was just, I'll never forget that. I met Sid Caesar. Um,
tell me about that.
well, that was a real quick one. That was also at the Friars Club, and he was in a wheelchair at that point. And they were celebrating his birthday, and I just got to go up and say hi, how are you? Pleasure to meet you, whatever. But these are heroes. These are. Why can I never remember who I've met? Because I've met just so many great people. Phyllis Diller,
Tell me about that.
also at the Friars Club. And the thing about Phyllis was she was incredibly sweet, incredibly talented classical pianist. Yes, and very, very supportive of women comedians coming up. She always took a lot of time because I've had a lot of students, who went and met her, and she spent time with them, so I know, firsthand. And we also recorded. I had a record company called Laugh.com Records with George Carlin, and he was my partner, and a couple other guys. And what we did was we started out doing downloadable comedy, but it was ahead of its time. Nobody could do it yet. This was like 2000, year 2000. So what we did was we went into the CD business, and we bought the rights to all the old great comedy albums and reproduced them for CD. So we had all of Carlin's, obviously, you know, you name it, anybody who had a hit CD, a hit album back in the day, Newhart, whoever, we produced those. So
I
the
got a
company's gone.
question about Bob Newhart. I
Yeah,
heard a rumor that he taught Ellen DeGeneres.
no, it's not. That's not true. It's a similar style. She has sort of incorporated his stutter step delivery, and she does it really well. And I'm a big fan of hers.
Yeah. Who are some of the other living comics that you're a big fan of today that we should watch out for?
Well, I mean, the big ones. You already know. Chappelle, obviously. I'm a huge Bob Zaney fan.
Yeah.
Huge Aaron O'Connor fan.
Yes.
Um, I like comedians who are nice people, and it's not always the case. Yeah, I mean, I've had pretty good. I've been to a lot of comedy festivals, Montreal, for several years, and Aspen and so forth, and you meet all these people, and 95% of them are tremendous, and 5% just the ego is just too big, and they won't ride in the van to the show with the other comics. They want their own vehicle. It's like all this bullshit. And so, I don't know. I mean, just pretty much. I don't want to. I'd love to mention the people I don't like, but
Me
I'm not
too.
going to do that.
Me too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've done
What about-
1,100 and some interviews, and there's been 4 people that I'd love to shout them out, but I'm like, nope, not gonna do it.
they were just mean during the interview.
I
Wow.
mean, like if you went to watch every interview, you'd know who I'm talking about, but
Right.
I left it up. I'm not taking them down. I'm not editing it out. You want to be a dick? Go right ahead.
Oh, well, thank you for that permission, because now I will be. Uh, so anyway, that was the record company. That was the. Who do you like? Who's
Well, in
current?
Vegas, it's Erin O'Connor, and I love Kathleen Dunbar
Oh,
because
yes.
she just makes me laugh. And but Erin is, to me, Erin is comedy gold, just comedy gold. That's, and I do break it down from women to men. Just coming from the women's, I don't want women left out, and I think they should be elevated in their own category as a compliment, not as a demeaning thing. And then for the men, I love Bob Zaney. Don't get me wrong, I love him. What he does, nobody else can or should do, and it's him. And what he does, he's the best. And but I love Christopher Titus. Christopher Titus, he gives me confidence to go further and push the on, not in a bad way, but to have the show the confidence and do the act outs and have the perspective and use your voice to really get a point across.
And he's a sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And his wife, I love her, Rachel.
I've never met his wife.
Oh, I was at Ross department store, and in walks Christopher Titus and Rachel Bradley, his wife. And Christopher takes off to go to the back to look at men's suits. And I'm looking at blouses. over here. And I thought, well, she's over at the next blouse rack, so that's where I'm gonna go. So I went over there, accidentally on purpose met her, and I said, this was like in 2005, 9 years before I started comedy. And I said, hey, are you with him? And she goes, I'm his wife. And I said, oh, and I said, I'm thinking about doing comedy. And I told her a joke. And she said, oh, you gotta do comedy. She probably meant you gotta get away from me.
Yeah, what's with the trying out the jokes on people? This is always a bad idea. When is it a good idea?
Oh my gosh. I I'm so embarrassed because it was a basic stupid joke. And like she probably thought, God, if one more person does this.
Yeah, if I hear the word joke, I just shut down immediately. There's no way I'm going to be laughing at it.
Thank you.
I'm going to be figuring it out so I know what the ending is.
Yeah. It's like, like when I say, I've got a joke with you in my, people shut down and then you don't get feedback on it if it was any good or not. And you kind of like, nobody wants to be used to give information for
That's not
free.
the kind of feedback you want anyway.
Yeah.
No, it's got to be in the right circumstances in the club and it's dark and the ceiling is low and the sound is good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll try out a joke. And I certainly won't say, I'm going to try out this joke on you people.
Tell
No.
me the three worst things any comedian could do. It's
Okay.
just such a turn off.
Okay. Work dirty. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Work too specific, like
Mhm.
just aiming your material at men, women, white, black, etc., young, old.
Really? Wow.
Got to be mass audience. No, there's no such thing as mass audience appeal material, really, but get as close to it as you possibly can. Um,
I'm trying to be relatable. I don't have a lot of brothers and
dude,
sisters.
dude,
So,
dude, listen to me. How old is your audience?
um, young people love me and old people
No.
forgive me
I
or forget. I don't know.
like that joke.
Thank you.
Um, I'm gonna steal that joke. We'll talk about stealing jokes. That's number three, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's
stealing.
what's a good topic that isn't too
Wait a
specific?
minute, wait a minute. So are you going to be able to relate to your audience because you think you're trying to be relatable, but you're not really their age necessarily?
No.
I'm a lot older than you. I know that.
I'm 73.
Okay, well, I was wrong, but it's close. I'm 68. So, but you look fantastic.
Thank you.
I could use one of, see this? Look at how good my neck looks when I lift it up like that. And
I
that's
just
just
need to
bad news.
I'm thinking about becoming a cutter and then they'll have to stitch me up for free.
Yeah. Oh, that's a brilliant idea. Why didn't I think of that? What were we talking about? Uh, well, we had the three things you're not supposed to do.
Like I want to be young people love me. I got a whole bit about how I'm just like the young people. But I'd have to have you beg for me to tell it to you. But no, seriously, young people just seem to love an old lady inspiring them.
Okay. Do you have a nice tape that you like?
Mhm.
And where was that filmed?
I think my favorite tape was filmed in Brooklyn. Have you heard of Joe Firestone? She's the
Yes,
head writer for
sounds
After
familiar.
Midnight with
Yeah,
Jet Taylor.
yeah.
Anyway, she was the host. She booked me, and it was at Butterboys, Littlefields in Brooklyn. Like 400 people were there, not to see me, and that was a shock. But young comedy writers were there in the audience, people on sitcoms and stuff, and it was like the audience, in order for me to get laughs, the audience has to get me. I mean, I can't do even my first anything until I know that they get me, and then everything works. Does that make sense?
Yes, but how are they getting you so quickly?
That I'm zany and I'm innocent and
But
I make
how
fun of
do
it.
we know that?
Because, like, before I go, I learned this from Steve Marshall, and in New York. Before you get the microphone, you're standing off to the side waiting to get called, and you have all these seconds, not minutes, but seconds for them to get who you are. Like you could trip and fall, or you could go, when they're doing your intro, you could go, or do something to let the audience know you're a little bit on the wacky side, which I'm really good at doing that. And so
Okay, that's interesting.
they already get me before I talk.
I find that very interesting because I think 99% of comedians just come out. They just walk out. And then usually I recommend that they don't do a joke right away because just like you said, the audience is sizing you up. But so even a hi, how are you, or how are you guys doing, which is real hacky, but it serves the purpose of they get to hear your voice, they get to look at you a little bit, see what you're wearing, see what you look like. Now they're ready for the first joke. But if you go right into that first joke, they're not ready.
Yeah.
But that first joke is really, I think, where they're going to start to get you, not before that.
Okay.
If you're Dick Van Dyke and you're tripping over the ottoman on the way to the thing, yeah, okay, we get that, but how many people can do that? I mean, right, it's you. I understand.
I hear what you're saying.
And I hear what you're saying. I'm not sure I agree with Steve. I may have to call Steve today and talk to him about that.
I'll tell you another trick he told me.
All
I
right.
didn't know where my jokes and my punchlines were. Like I know you're supposed to just be born with that. I mean, I write the material, but I didn't know how to deliver it, right? And he
Yeah,
says, you have a bed, right? Take your mattress off your bed and lean it up against the wall and box your set into the mattress. Have you heard that?
absolutely not. And this person should be put away. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to get out the blender. Okay, I want you to put your wallet in the blender. No, no, it's insane. I'm sorry, I'm not going along with any of this. You
I
sure it
got
wasn't?
this. He gives tips and he doesn't charge, and so
Well,
I
and it's
tried
worth
it.
it.
It helped, but
Worth every penny. This advice.
do you want to hear how I got my persona?
Have you got your first what? Your
You
first
want to
donut?
hear? Do you want to hear how I figured out my persona?
Oh, your persona. Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about that. Go ahead and we'll talk about that after. Go ahead.
I interviewed people on the street and I said, when you look at me, what do you think? What do you think I should say? What do you think I shouldn't say? How do you think I should deliver?
So
Most
this is
people
when you
get
were
on stage and just do the work and figure it out, but not me. I just let other people tell me what I am.
and this is when you were drinking? No, that's
No.
not. All right. So here's the persona thing. You cannot decide what your persona is going to be. Your persona will evolve naturally.
Isn't that beautiful?
Because if you decide too soon, you're Pee Wee Herman for the rest of your life.
Wow.
And you don't want to be. And neither did he.
Wow.
Yeah. So be careful. You could be the I don't get respect guy, but you're stuck with that. Gets kind
That's
of boring after a while. Yeah, you're
so
painting
you
yourself
just
into a
get
corner.
up there and you don't worry about what your persona is. It'll find you.
Well, it will find you. It'll find you in the writing. It'll find you in the performing. I sort of try to guide a little bit by the type of material I'm choosing for my students. They present the material, I go through it and I go, these are the best jokes. And when we get enough of those best jokes, we structure a 5. Then we memorize it and rehearse it like crazy. So when you get up there for the first time, it's not the first time. You know this thing backwards and forwards. You know where to pause, where to emphasize, where to move, where not to move. So
Absolutely.
it's all about the preparation.
Yes. I love to prepare. I go out. I have a brain injury. I know you'd never know. I'm 73 and have a brain injury. I'm just winning all over the
No, the
place.
brain
But
injury I knew. But go ahead.
so I have to do so much to remember, like I have to first remember to write the jokes, and then I have to remember where I put them. And I have to get them out and bring them. You'd be surprised. You people with brains, you think
Right,
it's
right.
so easy. I have to know where the pen is.
I
Who
use
am
the
I
invisible
today?
ink. Right. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm writing new material, but seriously, like I have to write it in a 3x5 card, write it
Right.
out. Then I have to write it a bunch of, then I plaster my walls with my set. I have to see my comedy set in the bathroom. I have in every room, I have the set. So everywhere I'm going, I'm reminded. So when I'm on stage, it comes back to me.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with file cards.
What's
Totally.
that?
Totally on board with file cards.
Yeah.
Totally believe in the file card. I'm surprised they still make the file card.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do the same thing. But I don't put it on the file card until it's perfected.
Wow.
I'm not writing several times the joke on it. No, when it's perfect, then it goes up. Then I can see. Um, After 40 years, I don't have to use the file cards anymore. I can see the file cards in my head. I know what the jokes are. I mean, I don't know my own routine as well as I know all of my students' routines.
That's
I mean, I could be
incredible.
sitting in the audience and they forget where they are. I could easily toss up the next joke to them
Wow.
because yeah, but I'm not smart in any other way. I'm just, I'm just comedy smart. I'm not good at anything else. I can take out the trash. That's it. But really, this is
What
all I know. It's kind of sad.
Well, let's talk about something unique. You take out the trash, you're a yes man to your wife. What's the funniest line or joke or bit that you created just being you around the house?
This is awful.
Thank
Not
you.
having any fun right now.
Oh well. I'll tell you mine while you think.
Yeah,
Okay, so I get in trouble everywhere I go. I'm fine in my house, but the minute I go out my door, I get in trouble. Okay, so I lied about that. I really get in trouble in my house. Like, see that wall? They have loud sex on the other side of that wall. And I don't know if I'm mad because it's on the other side of the wall. I don't know how I feel about on the other wall, which is like right here. Those people fight, physical fights. A man and a woman, I suppose, doesn't matter. And so, like I have to pick out, do I want to have my bed on this side of the wall and have 911 close at hand, or do I want to skip going to Pornhub and listening to this? So there you go. That
yeah,
I don't
nice, nice. Oh, I like that bit. It's a good
think.
bit. Yeah,
Thank
I would tighten it up a little bit, but it's a very good bit.
thank you. It's
Do
true
you know
too.
how many marriages end in divorce? All of mine. But that's a joke around the house. All right. That's all you get.
Love
At these
that.
prices, that's all you get.
Well, where do you want people, how do you want to be remembered? Let's say you get to
I don't
my,
want to be remembered.
you don't.
I don't. I don't. I mean, when you're gone, man. Everyone you know is going to die, right? No one's going to remember you. I don't want to be remembered. I really don't. I don't want a funeral. I don't want to be remembered. I just want to slip away.
Do you want your wife to be sad or do you want her to line up a replacement before you go?
I think I would like her to line up a replacement.
Do you have to approve it? Are you like controlling about that?
Mm, Not a Nazi.
What?
That's it. Not a Nazi.
Yes.
Not a Nazi. Yeah. No, she can do whatever she likes. She's
Okay,
free
so
right now to do whatever she likes. She can go anywhere, do anything. I'll stay right here. I'll answer the
Does
phone.
she need to spend $20,000 to leave the house?
I don't mind that at all. Money is no.
So I want you to tell people what you'd like to offer as the comedy coach
Yeah.
and
How
where
would I
they
sell myself, which I don't do? Okay.
oh, do you want
All
do
I
you,
can all I can tell people is go to comedycoach.com. If you have any questions, you can always text me or call me or whatever. All the information's there. You know, it's an 8-week course. It's an hour a week for 8 weeks, one-on-one through the internet like this. Most of my students, I have current students have been with me for 2, 3 years or longer, or their entire careers, because it's a process. It's not a quick fix. So every 8 weeks, we're reevaluating. You know, how we doing? Are you happy? Am I happy? Things moving the way they should be? If they are, we'll continue. So it's very much a writing, editing, structuring, memorization, rehearsal, performance process.
very good. I love
So we're
that.
building an hour, 5 minutes at a time. That's the deal. The fee is $8.95
Which is
for the 8.
nothing,
It really is nothing.
really
It's
is nothing.
certainly not helping. No, I don't care.
It's what did you just
I'm
say?
not. I'm not really interested in money at this point in my career. It's just like I want to work with who I want to work with. Probably 75% of the people who call me, I will not accept as students, because I don't want hobbyists. I want people who are completely serious about a career in stand-up or as an actor or as a public speaker or whatever they want to work on. Yeah.
Love
So
that.
yeah. So people usually understand if you just say, they're a hobbyist, and now it's, go take a class with someone. That
You
would
know,
be,
classes, I know some classes that are $450 and they help you with 5 minutes. In 8 sessions, do you come up, if they're good students, do you come up with an hour in 8 sessions?
no. We're building an hour, 5 minutes at a time.
Got
If
it.
we complete a 5 minute set in 8 hours, that's tremendous. Most people won't have their 5 minute set until 16 weeks, sometimes 32 weeks. It just depends on how much they're writing, how much we're keeping, how fast they memorize, and how well they take direction.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts. So, yeah.
Wonderful. I have so many topics that I talk about, and I need to know how to come, like I've got to the point where I know how to come up with a set, but I don't know how to take this 5 minute set and that one and that one and make it into a feature set or eventually a headliner set. I've got the pieces. I don't know how to
Yeah,
string it together.
right. Well, the pieces are, as you become an opening act and a feature and a headliner, you've got to expand those topics. You've got the time now. So that's what it's not so much as piece, 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 piece. It's this piece, and how do I make this piece this? And then I can put another big chunk after that. So a lot of the little things sometimes just have to go because they don't work in that format.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 minutes, you've got pieces. 10 minutes, you've got pieces. 15, starting to get, should be a little chunkier, the stuff. You can be more personal. Because as an opener or as an open micer, got to get laughs right away. Got a lot of laughs right away. Get off. They didn't learn who you were really,
Mm-mm.
and we don't even want them to in that 5. We want them laughing, right? So the longer the sets are, the more you can relax and share more personal information. But there's got to be personal. I always think the best set is 50% mass audience appeal, 50% personal stuff.
Wow.
They don't go for one, they're going to go for the other. You got to give them the chance, right?
Love
So,
that.
yeah, there's a
You've
lot
been
more.
so generous with your time, Neil. Thank you so
Haven't
much.
I, though? Haven't I?
You have. You're adorable, and thank you so much for being gracious to come on to my little show. And I'm going to cut clips and send it out everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikToks, Threads, YouTube, and we'll see if I can get some clicks for you. And the YouTube version will come out. And if you wouldn't mind sharing it and saying it's better than any other interview you've ever had in your life or something like
Sure,
that.
why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I do that? But yeah, send me a link to the interview.
I promise.
Whatever
And
you got.
and tell your wife that I think that she made the right choice. Thank you
Linda,
so much.
thank
Neil
you so
Lieber.
much, Linda. I love you, and I
I
will
love
talk
you,
to you.
right? I love you back. The
Okay.
comedy coach, Neil Lieberman, LEI. Bye, Neil. Thank you. Love you lots.
Love you.